Alright everybody, for this video I'm going to show you how to work through the problems on the Chapter 11 test, practice test form K. Here we go. I'm going to skip number 1 because I'm not going to put one of those on the test, so don't worry about that. So we're going to go right to number 2, and it says 5n minus 15 over 4n minus 12, and we need to simplify and state excluded values. So this is Fres-Red, factor, restrict, reduce. So first I'm going to factor. This binomial is going to look like this, and we get 4 times n minus 3. Now the n minus 3's are the same. I can't cancel the n's or the 3's. I can cancel the whole thing. N minus 3, I can reduce those, leaving me with 5 over 4 is the answer. Now, before I reduced, I should have restricted, so I'm going to go back. So the factors of the bottom are 4 and n minus 3. Neither of those is allowed to be 0. 4 can never be 0, so we don't have to worry about that. But n minus 3 is not allowed to be 0. Therefore, n cannot be 3. That's the restriction. So here's the simplified answer. Here's the restriction here. Number 3. We have 7x squared minus 26x minus 8 over x squared minus 16. Okay, so that top one is pretty beastly to factor. However, assuming that it's going to cancel out with one of the bottom ones, I'm going to do the bottom first because that's a difference of squares, so it's x minus 4x plus 4. And so the top I'm going to assume is going to have an x plus 4 or an x minus 4. So let's see if that's true. We need factors of AC, so that's negative, oops, whoa, that went crazy. Let's try that again. So we need factors of negative 56 that add up to negative 26. And so, I don't know, so if one of those factors happens to be 4, then it will be 4 and we're at 28, 14. No, that didn't work. Okay, so let's see what we got here. We can try, looks like negative 28 and 2 will work. I started with 156, that obviously wasn't working, but 2 and 28 are 26 apart, so that's going to work. So now I'm going to make my box. And so I get 7x squared from here, negative 8 from here, and then the negative 28 and the 2 from there. So I'm going to factor this. I'm going to get x, here's the minus 4, and here is x, no, 7x, sorry, 7x plus 2. So on top we get 7x plus 2 and then x minus 4. So I'm going to make my restrictions now. From here x is not allowed to be 4, and from here x is not allowed to be negative 4. And now I can reduce. These go away. Now 7x plus 2 and x plus 4 have no factors in common. I mean, they have an x, but that's a term, so you can't reduce that. If this was all multiplied, like 7 times x times 2, and this was x times 4, then you could reduce the x, and the 2 and the 4 would become 1/2. But since there's an addition sign in there, you cannot do that. Oops, so that is the final answer. I'm running out of space here, so let's see. The final answer is going to be 7x plus 2 over x plus 4, and then with those restrictions. All right, moving on to number 4. We have 3 plus t over 3t squared plus t minus 24. Again, one of these factors on the bottom is probably going to be 3 plus t or t plus 3 actually, but we're not quite sure which one yet. So let's see, 24 times 3, I don't really know what that is. Was that 48, 72? negative 72. So I need factors of 72 that are 1 apart. So that's going to be negative 8 and 9. That wasn't too bad. So I'm going to make my box again. It's a pretty bad box. So we got 3t squared, we got negative 24, we got negative 8t and 9t. Factoring there, we get 3t minus 8, and here we get t minus, let's see, t plus 3. Yeah. Okay. So that works, right? 9t. Okay. So we have, I'm going to switch this to make it look the same as the bottom. So t plus 3 and 3 plus t are the same. And now the bottom, I get t plus 3 and 3t minus 8. Restrictions. So from here, t is not allowed to be negative 3. And then from here, we have to do a little more solving here. So 3t minus 8 is not allowed to be 0. Therefore, 3t cannot be 8, and t cannot be 8/3. Now moving on to the reduction phase, t plus 3 goes away, leaving us with a 1 up here. So we have 1 over 3t minus 8. Done. Number 5. Multiplication. Pretty similar to this stuff we just did. There's just an extra step of reduction, but it's exactly the same, really. So we're going to factor first. In the instructions for this section, it does not ask to have excluded values, so I'm not going to be concerned about that. So I'm going to factor the top left. Bottom left, there's nothing to be factored. Top right, same. Bottom, we can factor. We get 2 times 2x minus 5. Is that right? 2, 4x minus 10. Yeah, good. All right, so now these x plus 2's can go away. This 2 can go with that 2, because remember, this is now a factor, whereas this 2 is not. So I cannot factor this 2 and that 2, or this 5 and that 5 for that matter. And it looks like we're done, because only a 5 is left on the top and only 2x minus 5 on the bottom. So the final answer is 5. Oh, wait, here's an x. So 5x over 2x minus 5. All right, number 6. 3n squared minus n over n squared minus 1. Now it says divided by n squared over n plus 1, but I'm just going to go ahead and save time by flipping it right off the bat. Now again, same thing, we're going to factor reduce, so 3n minus 1 over, this is a difference of squares, so it's n plus 1 and minus 1. Here's n plus 1, nothing to do there, and then we have n squared. I'm just going to write n times n because when I reduce, it's going to make it more obvious. So this n is a factor, it can be reduced. This 3n minus 1, there's nothing that matches that, because it's got to be the whole thing. So that's done. N plus 1, the whole thing, cancels with that whole thing. And we're done. So this n minus 1, this n minus 1, not factorable, because n is a term. So it's got to be the whole thing, has to be the same. So now we combine everything with multiplication. So 3n minus 1 on top, n times n minus 1 on the bottom. Done. 7. 6y squared minus 47y minus 8 over 6y plus 1. Again, this is division, but I'm going to switch it and make it multiplication right off the bat. All right, I'm going to factor the top. That looks maybe a little nasty. Let's see. Nothing, no monomial, so I'm going to go right to AC. So AC equals negative 48. Oh, that's going to be easy. Okay, B equals negative 47, so negative 48 and 1 will work nicely. So let's make the box. So we got 6y squared, negative 8. We got our negative 48 y and our 1y. Factoring 6, is that a factor of that? 36, yeah, so 6y, and here's just 1, and then here we get a y minus 8. Yeah, 6y, yeah, okay. So now the top left looks like y minus 8 and 6y plus 1. The bottom left is not factorable. The top right is not factorable, and the bottom right is not factorable. Okay, so now we just look for commonality. Is there anything that looks like y minus 8? Yes, there is. Is there anything that looks like 6y plus 1? Yes, there is. And nothing left on the bottom, so our answer is just 2y. That's it. 2y over 1, which is 2y. All right. That is it for this video. I'll start with number 8 on the next video.